You hit the bell so we can move on to the next round.
Yes, sir.
Mikey Garcia, he came out stating that his power, Jesse Vargas came out stating that Mikey Garcia power is on Manny Pacquiao level because when he hurt him, he really felt it. And he's a warrior. He fought on. And like I told you, Mikey even went for the kill. And he was getting hit with a bunch of left hooks. And if y'all could check out our coverage, and, man, like I said, he wasn't responsible defensively, but the power is still there. So what you think about those comments in particular?
Well, I just have to take a man's word for his word. I've never been in the ring with them, and I've never felt that power. So if he thinks that their power is comparable or nearly the same, then I'm a say that Jesse Vargas is probably telling the truth. As far as how his power would do against some of the other fighters, I think that once you get into Errol Spence, we saw that one thing, he wasn't able to land his punches at all. He got clearly dominated. And then even when he did, they didn't seem to bother Errol Spence that much. You said it was a testament to Errol Spence's chin to that point.
Skill, defense.
Oh, yeah. And, but you also said something today, Mir. You was like, and they talk about Errol Spence ain't got no chin. You were kind of like alluding to that point.
Talking about today?
Yeah, today.
Well, I said the best chin is the chin that don't get hit. And Errol Spence does have a good chin, too. But I just want to say that defensively, just like Fury, he fought Wilder. He proved that he had a great chin because he didn't get cracked as much. But when he did get cracked, he actually took it as well. But, yeah, you can follow with your point.
Yeah, I'm saying it to say, because he mentioned, he called out Errol Spence, and he also called out Manny Pacquiao. I thought he was capping a bit with the Errol Spence, and my argument was it would be very hard to sell that fight. Particularly is that you can make the case that he lost every round in a fight that he got dominated. He took a lot of punishment. But as a boxer, and even kind of as a selling point, he has to save face in a sense. So he is going to say Errol Spence is sitting right there. Also, I have a friend, Fuji. I want to give a shout out to him. He thinks that everybody thinks that Errol Spence is food now and ready for the picking, so that there might be some legitimacy in that call out. I don't buy it, but that's a theory that's out there.
Well, as far as the Errol Spence fight, that's the next topic, which is Mikey Garcia calling out Pacquiao and Errol Spence. Can you hit the bell, Professor Nim, so we can hop on to the next round? He called both of them out. Of course, Pacquiao fight makes sense if we're going to talk about that first, because that's a 50-50 fight after what I saw last night. Because Mikey, even though he was getting hit a whole bunch against Jesse Vargas, but Jesse is more so in his prime. Manny Pacquiao is a little older. And Mikey, if he's able to study him and do the Marquez on him, he probably could catch him with a right hand later on, and he got a good jab. So stylistically, it's a tricky fight for Manny Pacquiao. Mm-hmm. However, at the same time, Pacquiao's speed is on a whole different level, and I just don't like how Mikey Garcia have been getting hit lately at the welterweight division. I didn't see him get hit as many times in the lower weight divisions, but that's credit to Jesse Vargas as well. He's a warrior, and he was coming to win. But as far as the Errol Spence fight, it just doesn't make sense, so it won't make dollars, because he didn't just beat him, he dominated him. How can you possibly win a fight if you're getting outboxed and then he's literally beating up on you? The only thing that could happen in a rematch is Errol Spence possibly stopping him. So I'm not interested in that. Like you said, it's a way to save face. You have to respect him, because he kind of gave the courage for a lot of these welterweights to step in with the truth, because he was the most feared and the boogeyman at the time. So after he fought him, it kind of gave courage to these other welterweights to be like, you know what? It's not as bad to fight Errol Spence. And we'll see, as far as the numbers, how many tickets they sold in Dallas. We already know Errol Spence was there. So people claim the success of Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia was credit to Mikey, I told y'all it ain't, because Errol Spence is the truth and he's the star and the boogeyman at the welterweight division. So Mikey wanted to fight him because he knew he's the cash cow, but nobody capitalized on it because all these top names didn't want to fight him. So we'll see how many tickets they sold, because it's 2 Mexican warriors and they gave it a candidate of fight of the year possibly. So all the right, like all the right
ingredients.
Yeah, it was there to make a great and successful night of boxing, which it did. But we'll see if that's going to translate to ticket sales. So, what's your take on that?
Well, I mean, I'll say that there was a lot of different motivations for when Mikey first fought Errol Spence. I wouldn't consider Errol Spence to be the cash cow. I think that if he thought that was, so you probably went at the hardest challenge that you could do to get a paycheck. He could have went at Lomachenko, unless Lomachenko was avoiding him. But he could have went at him and took less of a risk for at least the same payday.
And just to inform the public, he did. I don't know if you saw the clips when he was like, he pulled up on Lomachenko and stuff, but Lomachenko had a shoulder surgery, and he said, I don't want to have my comeback fight against Mikey Garcia. I need a tune-up, and he fought Pedraza. So Mikey said, I don't want to wait because it seemed like a Bob Arum tactic, had me wait forever, and I already had this issue before. So he said,
I mean, that's understood. And just to finish my point, I think that if you're just going to cash out, that's probably one of the most dangerous. Yeah, I think he did it partly the challenge itself. Like, people who want to be great, they take on great challenges, and to go after Errol Spence at 147, I think that was him challenging himself to be great. It did come with a nice paycheck. I'll also say that with Manny Pacquiao, I think that they're about the same height, right? So both of them are 5'6", and Mikey, so he did get touched up in his 2 fights. But you got to think about Errol Spence, who might be the biggest welterweight out there, right? So there are just physical dimensions that are going to allow them to touch Mikey when normally he wouldn't be touched against fighters who are his size are a little bit smaller. And Jesse Vargas is 5'11". You don't realize, so he had a 5-inch reach advantage. I mean, height advantage, and only a 3-inch reach advantage. But like, just those physical dimensions allows them the ability to touch Mikey where he wouldn't. Pacquiao won't have that same advantage, right?
So Pacquiao's 5'6". So after seeing the fight last night, how do you see Manny Pacquiao versus Mikey Garcia?
How's it go? I mean, that's hard. I haven't given it a lot of thought, so I'm just
on top of the dome, freestyle on some real rap.
What I'll do is I'll just talk about the attributes that both of them bring to the ring, and then how they fared against other opponents with similar attributes. So with Manny Pacquiao, he's gonna have clear advantages in hand and foot speed. Right? He's gonna be in and out. He might not have the power advantage is gonna be the same. I think just that kind of quick, explosive power is going to go with Manny Pacquiao, but I think that's pretty much a wash in that. But clear advantages when it comes to footwork, and footwork, hand speed, and foot speed, even though footwork is probably close. But with that said, that's going to allow him to dart in and out and be able to, especially early on, to really tag Mikey. And then so he should really invest in the body and do some other things to really try to take it out of Mikey. Mikey has a clear advantage, in my opinion, when it comes to timing and also when it comes to ring generalship. His footwork is a little more educated and a little more purposeful than Manny Pacquiao, who's just kind of like this, little
gifted,
like Tasmanian devil.
He awkward with gift.
Yeah. So with that said, one of the fighters that Pacquiao easily had the most trouble against, and I don't think it was Mayweather. I think it was Marquez. Marquez laid him out, flattened him, even though he's had good success against him. And Marquez relied on timing. If you look at Marquez's stance and you look at Mikey's stance, how they kind of probe with that front left hand, they're very similar. I think Mikey might be a little bit, naturally just a little bit bigger fighter. But I think he sees that and then sees Manny Pacquiao and says, everything that I bring into the ring are those skills that Manny Pacquiao is most vulnerable to.
Yeah, and just my take on that and responding to some of the points you brought up. You brought up the fact that Mikey Garcia moving up in weight, he's more vulnerable because he's fighting bigger guys. So, that's why it's, amazing to see fighters like Mayweather and Pacquiao move up in weight and keep their quickness and their sharpness. Mm-hmm. Like Mayweather moved up 5 weight divisions and he never missed a beat. Same with Pacquiao as well. He moved up 8 divisions and he's as quick on welterweight, and he kept his power and speed, which is the key. Now, Mikey Garcia never had the speed. However, his timing's still there. Defensively, he's getting hit more than usual. I don't think it's a height and reach thing, because against Robert Easter, he looked great in that fight, and he was sharp defensively as well. But I just think the weight, he's a little sluggish at 147 maybe. Or maybe he fighting better competition. But with the Pacquiao fight, for example, Pacquiao, like you said, the guy that gave him the most trouble is Marquez, who slept him, but also Mayweather. Because Mayweather, it took him 30 seconds to land a right hand and counter Pacquiao coming in, which it took Marquez a couple, rounds, and he got dropped in the process in the first fight. So he kind of studied him. So I'm trying to see if Mikey Garcia is as sharp as a counter puncher as Marquez, but can he do it in a quicker, time? Because you're not gonna have a second and a third shot at Pacquiao. And you got to keep in mind, Marquez fought Pacquiao toward his prime too, and Marquez, I believe, possibly was even the older guy. In this situation, Mikey is the younger guy. He the fresher guy, and he hit harder than Marquez, in my opinion. He's not a better combination puncher, but he has great chin. Yeah. He's not getting dropped as many times as Marquez used to. And one thing that people have to keep in mind, that Mikey Garcia has great timing as well, that's what gave Marquez the advantage, and that's the IQ, which we were talking about, smart footwork instead of just gifted footwork that's awkward. With that being said, that's a tough fight, and you probably even have to favor Mikey Garcia in a fight like that. But Pacquiao...
You would?
I
don't think... I don't know.
It's a 50-50 fight. It's a 50-50 fight because of his age. Mikey... at that weight, anything can happen, But with that being said, I got great news for you. Can you hit the bell, Professor Nim, so we can move on to the next round? Now, you already know we're going to have y'all call in a little bit. I just forgot to swap my...
Fortunately, I know you want to see the Spence versus Pacquiao, but I can almost guarantee you that's probably not going to happen. I'm thinking we're going to see in the summertime. Pacquiao and Errol Mikey Spence, Garcia.
Peace, AkHi.
All right, man. I appreciate the love, bro.
I mean, this is more of a chance of Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence than Mikey, I believe, because of the money.
So Miguel Romero says Mikey needs to rebuild his stock. He did. It takes one fight. You almost stop Vargas. It just takes one fight. You don't have to go through.
You got to do a little more.
No, you don't.
He still got to win a belt.
He went in a fight that not one person picked him except for Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm talking about Jesse Vargas. Everybody was picking him,
but we got a caller 312. How you doing, AkHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
This is Lalo calling from Chicago.
Chi-Town, what's good with you?
What's up, AkHi?
Yeah, so I was also impressed with Mikey's victory to a certain extent. He showed great timing. His power translates to the 147 division, but I also have to identify his flaws. And his flaws include he's very flat-footed. He lacks speed and he lacks head movement. And I think if a individual from the lower weight division wants to move up in weight, you have to find ways to offset the natural advantages of your opponent. I don't think Mikey has that to beat any of the belt holders at 147. I think he has no business campaigning at 147. I think all of the title holders, including Pacquiao, will defeat him. I think Pacquiao's pressure and offense will be too much for Mikey. I don't think his timing will be enough. And I think Crawford would obliterate him.
He doesn't want Crawford.
You want to go first?
Yeah, but let me give you a scenario. So those were some good points that you brought up. But with that
He's
said,
a one-dimensional fighter.
yeah, I wouldn't agree on that. But let me ask you one question. So, remember what you said about Mikey? You know, he's kind of flat-footed, does not that fast and stuff. So think about him and Juan Manuel Marquez. Like, what do you see that's different between them?
I'll tell you exactly what's different. I'm very happy you brought that up.
Yeah,
Mikey won't take risks. He will not take risks to be great. When he fought Errol Spence, he didn't take risks because he was afraid to get knocked out. That's the main reason why Errol Spence was unable to knock out Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia would not throw his hands. That's another reason why he can't campaign at welterweight. He has a very low work rate, just like Broner.
I would
that
say,
low work rate, Pacquiao will he'll tear him to pieces.
So I want to say
took risks.
I want to say, well, you know, like Marquez could take all the risk he want, but when he fought Mayweather, a guy that's better than him, it's just so much you could do. Against Errol Spence, he was just outclassed, so he just chose to survive instead. So if he actually threw some punches, he would have got knocked out. It wouldn't have did him any good. But I want to bring
he
up,
knows when to take the risk.
So I want to bring up a point you brought up. You said Mikey at welterweight, you know, he's not his best version. I think I agree with you on that. He's a little sluggish at 147, but you got to understand he was never the fastest guy in the world in the lower weight divisions. And unlike Mayweather and Pacquiao, who carried the speed and power when they moved up in weight, Mikey carried the power. But one thing, like you said, he's not moving around, he being flat-footed. You have to keep in mind he don't have the quickness and the speed to move around and outbox guys that has more reach. And they are taller than him and bigger than him. So he has to apply pressure and go in the inside and fight at his range in order to win. Because, you know, if he had speed, he don't have the elements, even in the lower weight divisions.
You're confirming my point.
Yeah, but I'm saying even...
my point.
Yeah, but
he was able to excel at the lower weight divisions because of his power. When he's fighting at welterweight, he's unable.
But he still have the power. He still have the power. Don't you think he still have the power?
He absolutely still has the power. So he has a fighter's chance of beating Pacquiao if he gets a counter. But that's about it. So does he have a chance? Maybe. But I think it'll be a point victory for Pacquiao because if he lands the right hand.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, Jesse Vargas gave Pacquiao a tough fight too, and Mikey beat Jesse Vargas. Let's not forget, Jesse Vargas gave Pacquiao a
C-level fighter.
But he's 40. He's 41 years old now.
That could have been ruled a draw.
Pacquiao is not in his prime. He's 41 years old too, fam. You got to keep that in mind.
He's not in his prime. If he was in his prime, he'd knock out Mikey Garcia.
Yeah,
so one more thing. Mikey Garcia is completely mismanaging his career. There are levels to this thing. And if you want to fight at 147, he should campaign at 140, get all the belts there, do what Bud Crawford did, and then fight at 147. Who do you think you are to jump at 147 and do that? That's not how it works. You got to take your career serious like Floyd Mayweather did, man. You got to build yourself to that level.
He's making smart decisions. I think him going to the zone just for one fight, getting $7 million almost.
He just wants money. He wants to bank out. He wants to cash out. That's all Mikey's doing. At the end of his career, it's going nowhere.
He deserved it, but he fought. He took chances.
I used to be a fan, but I'm unhappy with his choices. Bud Crawford and Spence, they're the faces of the division.
Yeah, well,
I wouldn't argue with that.
You can always get an honorable mention.
I would
argue
with the previous point, though.
Yeah, but
okay,
so
guys.
appreciate you for calling in. Peace. You know.
So man, I would totally disagree about mismanaging his career. Early on, he had these long periods of inactivity, and it seemed like he would take a hiatus. But he was really taking control of his career. He was in a bad deal with Bob Arum. Bob Arum was basically trying to feed him to the wolves because he wouldn't do what he said. And this is somebody who I think is doing a really good job with his career. He's getting the fights that he wants. So if you're able to come from 135 and get a fight with Errol Spence, that's super lucrative, and it seems like he's setting himself up for another super lucrative fight with Manny Pacquiao. I don't see how that's mismanaging.
Sugar Ray Leonard pulled it off, moving up 2 weight divisions, and
so did
Sugar Ray. Shane Mosley.
It was Shane Mosley.
Yeah, Shane Mosley. So with that being said, 337. How you doing, AkHi? Where you calling from?
It's Joshua Simpson.
This is Split Decision. It's a boxing debate / talk show. So tune in every Sunday live on AkHi TV exclusively. So subscribe below if you're trying to get smart about the minute. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't. And listen to these decaf / old media, of course, is new media all day. Shout out to DBN for starting the new media wave. And you already know Professor Nim on the left in the blue corner. AkHi on the red corner, the undefeated 24-0. We've been 24 episodes, and you know what I mean? I'm untouched. God only made a couple things perfect, and that's my boxing record and my debating record on Split Decision and Floyd Mayweather boxing record. What do you say to that, Professor Nair?
I want to say that give a shout out to everybody that's tuning in. We definitely appreciate the love, appreciate the call-ins, appreciate the super chats. We usually stray away from politics, but I want to say Super Tuesday is coming up and everything, so I'm not going to get in it. I'm not going to tell y'all who I'm voting for and everything, but you know what I'm saying? So make sure that
he letting it be known. Stop playing with Professor Nim, the man with all the knowledge, a real life professor in real life. So put some respect on his name. That's all I'm saying. All right.